Hey clean freaks and germaphobes, what's up you guys? Today I'm going to show you how to clean and sterilize your baby bottles. In this video, I want to go over not only how to sterilize your bottles, but when it's necessary to sterilize them, different methods for sterilization, and believe it or not, you don't have to buy expensive sterilizers. I will also go over how to clean your bottle by hand if you don't have a dishwasher. But first, if you're new to Clean Freak and Germaphobe, we love to clean and organize and disinfect. I had a baby 5 months ago, and this is my 4th baby. So of course, I'm going to be also talking about a lot of baby cleaning stuff. So if you're new here, make sure to hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of our future videos. But for now, let's talk about baby bottles. So let's start with cleaning your baby bottles first, since you want to clean them before you sterilize them. So I'm talking about plastic bottles, glass bottles, or silicone bottles. By the way, make sure that whatever kind of bottle you choose, make sure they are BPA free. The FDA banned BPA bottles and sippy cups in 2012, so unless you're using bottles more than 9 years old, you should be fine. To wash them, first step is to take the bottles apart. Separate the nipples, the rings and the caps, and also any valves. If you have a dishwasher, all you need to do is rinse them underwater and throw them in the dishwasher. For the little small parts, make sure to put them in a basket with a top, or put them in a mesh bag so they don't wind up in the dishwasher filter or on the heating element where they're gonna get melted or damaged. Run the dishwasher with hot water and heated drying. If you have a sanitizing cycle, then use that. When the load is done, then wash your hands with soap and water, take out the bottle and the bottle parts. If there's still some water on them, then let them dry on a dry towel, but don't use the towel to wipe them dry. Once they're dry, store them in a place that is clean and free of dirt and dust. If you're washing your baby bottles by hand, the first thing to remember is to not wash them in the sink and don't wash them with all the other dirty dishes. Have a basin that you can use to wash the bottles separate from the rest of the dirty dishes. You can put the basin in the sink and then fill that with hot water and dish soap. Next, wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water. Take apart the bottles, nipples, rings, and any other parts, and then rinse them in warm water. Don't dump the rinse water into your clean wash basin. Next, use a brush to clean out the inside and outside of the bottles. If you have a small brush to get into the bottom of the nipples, use that to clean inside them. Otherwise, just flip the nipple inside out to clean the inside. Be sure to squeeze water through the nipples to clean out the nipple holes. Finally, give them another rinse and put them on a clean, dry towel to dry. Just like the dishwasher, remember not to use the towel to wipe the bottles dry. Just let them air dry. That way you don't get germs from the towel onto the clean bottles. Also, remember to wash and rinse out the wash basin and the baby bottle brush so that it is clean for the next time you wash your bottles. Once your bottles are clean, you can move on to the next step of sterilizing them. But before we do, I want to point out that it might not always be necessary to sterilize your baby's bottles. Back in the day when we couldn't always rely on tap water being completely clean and safe, you absolutely needed to sterilize the bottles. But nowadays, with municipal water being as safe and reliable as it is, you don't really need to sterilize the bottles anymore, except for a few exceptions. So let's talk about those. So first off, if you're using secondhand bottles or if you've borrowed them, and it's fine if you do that, having a baby is expensive, and then there's baby clothes and toys and cribs and diapers, the list goes on and it adds up. So if you wanted to save a little money and buy used bottles or just borrow them from somebody else, it's totally fine. Just make sure you sterilize them first. If you have somebody in the family that is sick, so if you have sick germs, cough or cold or COVID or anything else floating around the home, it's best to sterilize the bottles and biggies to help keep the baby from getting sick. If your baby is premature or has a health problem or a weakened immune system, the CDC specifically says to make sure to sterilize their bottles. And finally, if your baby is 3 months or less, newborn babies should have clean, sterilized bottles for the first 3 months. Oh, also, if you don't trust the water, so like if you're using well water or if you're traveling somewhere and you aren't sure about the reliability of the water, just be safe and sterilize the bottles. Now let's talk about different ways to do that. There are several different ways that the CDC recommends them. First, you can boil them in water. Just boil a pot of water, make sure all the bottle parts are taken apart and put them in the water, and make sure that they're fully submerged and that there aren't any air bubbles in the bottles. Boil them for 5 minutes and then remove them with clean tongs. I personally just let my tongs boil in the water right with the bottles so that they are sterilized too, but that makes the tong handles really hot, so you'll need to use a hot pad to handle them. Finally, you let them air dry on a clean towel, and they're gonna dry pretty fast. since they are going to be very hot, so be careful. You can also steam your bottles. You can either purchase plug-in steam systems, I'll link to a good one in the video description, and you just have to follow the manufacturer's instructions. Another option is to bleach your bottles. This is a good option if you don't have a dishwasher and you can't boil or steam your bottles. So here's how you do it. You get a clean basin and fill it with a gallon of hot water, and then add 2 teaspoons of unscented bleach. If your basin is smaller, you can add a half a gallon, which is just 8 cups of water, and then 1 teaspoon of bleach. So 1 gallon, 2 teaspoons. 1/2 gallon, 1 teaspoon. Then you need to submerge all of the baby items completely. They have to be completely underwater for it to work everywhere. So make sure that there are no air bubbles in the bottles or the nipples. Remember to squeeze the solution through the nipple holes too. Then let the bottle parts soak for at least 2 minutes. When they're all done, use clean tongs and pull out the bottles and parts. A trick you can do is just soak the tongs along with the bottles. Then the tongs will be sanitized too. But if you don't have tongs, just wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water and you're good to go. Place the bottles and the bottle parts on a clean, unused towel to dry. You don't need to rinse off the bleach with tap water, and the tap water will actually undo the sterilizing efforts. Just let them air dry, and then the bleach will break down quickly as it dries, and it's not gonna harm your baby. As for storing your bottles, just store them in a clean, dry place free of dust and dirt. If you do need to sterilize your bottles for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, it's best to sterilize the bottles the day that you're planning on using them. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, give this video a thumbs up, and it would mean the world to us if you would subscribe to Clean Freak and Germaphobe. We do a lot of cleaning and organizing tips, and because I've just had a baby, a lot of these tips are gonna be about cleaning baby stuff. And in fact, I recently did a video on how to clean baby stains, which we have a lot of, and I'm gonna link to that video right here. Click on that video and I will see you over there.